the other thing too, guys, is just so you know, if you had the old app on your phone, you would have noticed in the what we call the preferred advertisers, an actual red button that normally sits. You'll see it on the screen right here. At the very bottom of the screen, you'll see the red tab and a red button there. And that button normally floated. Because I don't have the new one in front of me, I can't show you what that looks like. But I know that if it's not there now, it's going to be re-implemented in. So you will have that again, because I know that was a big feature. And that feature allowed an actual advertiser to put specials and a variety of ways inside the app, including coupons. And so someone could walk into the business and show that red dot, pop that, and you'd see all of a sudden, you'd see a little cool coupon pop up so that they could actually track. So I know that it wasn't there earlier today that I looked at it, but I know it's being re-implemented. So just bear with us here. We'll have that back. But what I wanted to do is I want to start by talking. Go on, Brian.
No, I'm sorry. It is there. You get to it under the plus sign that's on the lower right-hand part of your screen. If you go into particularly Isabella in Tahoe, under the Ridge Tahoe, in the Explorer, and hit the little plus sign on the lower right, it's there. We just discussed this morning that we're about pulling that off of there and putting it on the same line with the buttons for directions and social media, website, and call. And we'll make it. We can make it red again, so that's fine. And we're going to pull the menu out of there as well.
Okay, cool. So the menu will be there, or it'll be at the top.
The menu will come up on the first screen with the ad, where the call button is.
All right, guys. Perfect. Okay, cool. All right, guys. One of the things that I've often been asked is, how do you sell the digital along with print? And this is where I want to start today. One of the things that I seem to be very, very valuable in talking with an advertiser is following. Advertisers want access to the greatest bang for their buck. And one of the things you'll hear a lot of times from advertisers is if they're on the fence about doing print, or they've had questions because they feel like they've gotten the kind of traction, or they're saying, hey, we're leaning a lot of our advertising dollars toward digital. Well, one of the things you can do now is utilize that as a key selling point, because not only do we have the print book that's available and is going to always be available in those rooms, but what we really want to emphasize to the advertisers, Mr. Johnson, we don't want you just to have your advertisement in the rooms. It's static. That's great. That's awesome in the rooms. What we want is your advertising to be able to walk out of the room with the consumer. And he looks at you like, okay, what do you mean? Now, you pull out your actual app. You got the app on your phone. You show them. Mr. Johnson, what we're able to do is we're able to take your ad and customize it and make it digital and alive so that the actual consumer can have it in and around town. When they're out and about, let's say they're at the local cafe and they're like, well, what should we do today? What kind of attraction should we take advantage of? Oh man, can't do it with the old format because I would have to go back to the hotel, pick up the guest directory and look through it. Well, the good news is you've got your guest directory digitally right here in the form of this app. All they have to do is click on that tab at the very top that says attractions, and boom, Mr. Johnson, your helicopter tours are right there. He's like, oh, wow, this is cool, Mark. Well, how does it work? Okay. Not only is it there, but let me show you what we can do with it. At the very top, right, guys, you may see in the screen here, we have a section called Explore in the app. And what Explore allows the advertiser to do is it's basically, it's like dipping their feet in the water. They get a chance to test drive it. They get a chance to try it out. Well, trying it out is like doing your print ad in the digital format, and this is what we would call Explore. It's a static ad. They get one photo, they get a paragraph of information, they get their phone number, but they get an actual button that gives them directions directly to the business. So physically from that cafe, they can do the following. They can look at your ad, they can book a reservation, they can get directions directly to the place. Now, that type of ad, which we call Explore, will have no change capability for a 12-month period. So it's very similar to a static ad. The difference is it's able to be in and around town when that consumer goes out. They have it at the ready in their hands on the app itself. That's option one. We call it the Explorer. Option 2 is called the preferred, and you'll see this is a lot more popular. If you've got the app in front of you, you would know that the actual app gives you up to 6 image options, and with a small little slide to the left, or I think slide to the right, you'll get a variety of images. So let's say that tour company says, well, I want to have some photos of some of our past guests enjoying themselves at our different attractions. And they can show some of those images. So they've got 6 images. And again, you can't put 6 images in a print ad. That gets a little too busy. But here, it's really nice and aesthetic because, as you can see on the photo on the screen, there's just one photo at a time that's showcasing itself. So here, it's a restaurant, but they got that one photo. Slide to the left, slide to the right, you get another photo, and you just continue and you look at the 6 images. Oh, that's great. It gets better. You got your address information as well. You've got an actual call button, unlike the Explorer ad where you just have a actual phone number. You can't really call it. You'd have to just pick up your phone and actually dial the numbers. Whereas here with the preferred, it's an actual click of a button. It automatically pops up the phone number and it calls. You get 2 paragraphs of information. As we mentioned before, at the outset of the call, you have a red button will be a highlighted area where the advertiser will be able to create features and specials, promote music. For example, they've got a restaurant. They've got some specials coming up. They've got some live music Friday night, open mic or whatever. They want to showcase and share some of the things. They can do that. They'll be able to log in and be able to share some of that. They have the Map Connect, as I mentioned earlier. They have their site link, so they can actually put their website directly into the app. If they have a menu online or different features, if it's a tour company, they can place that information right online inside of our app. The social media and content control. This is probably one of the most valuable portions for the advertiser. Unlike print, whether he's advertising in one of our guest directories or advertising in Vogue magazine or US Today, that's a static ad and will always stay the same. However, with the actual app, you have the capability of changing content on the fly. So that advertiser he may say, well, we've got these specials coming up. Let's go ahead and change that. Well, with this, they can. They'll log in with their own username and password, as you can see right here where it says login and password. They'll get their own credentials. They can log in. They can change their content. They can change their specials. Let's say a special ran for 30 days and they're like, well, we didn't get the kind of traction we wanted. Well, the good news is they can change that. They can say, well, the 2-for-1 didn't work the way we wanted it to. However, we've got this special on lobster. Let's try that this month. Boom, throw that in, and all of a sudden they get the kind of traction they want. They have a capability to modify their campaigns to get the best return for their buck. And that's valuable for them. And again, going back to the beginning, you're meeting with that advertiser. He's got access to the rooms. We want to say, Mr. Johnson, we don't want you to miss out. This is one opportunity for you, but where you'll maximize your reach is you want those consumers to walk out with your campaign, with your content in hand, and to be able to get conversions in and about town while they're out and about. This is how you're going to maximize your dollar, maximize your return. That's number 2 option for what we can sell in the app. And option 3 is just a combination of option 2, but with the caveat of actually having a banner ad per category. So let's say you're a sports and recreation company, as you can see on the screen, and you can see the big blue bar at the very top. That there represents a banner. That would be a banner ad that stays at the very top of that section. Every time a person logs into the actual app and they go to that particular category, that actual banner ad remains there. When you click on that banner ad, it takes them directly to their preferred advertisement. And so now that means that every single eyeball that goes into that particular category, no matter who's listed below him, that primary premium placement will always get first opportunity. And this is brilliant for the advertiser. And so as we're just starting this off, guys, I've been asked before, would there be other opportunities to have more businesses at the very top? The answer is yes. As we build traction, we build our audiences. Yeah, we may have a restaurant section, and every time you open up the app, it may be a different banner. But out the gate, that one advertiser will get all of the exposure because we're only selling one in that spot at this time. So I'm going to stop here because I want to get some feedback or some questions. Let's see if we have any. Brian, do we have any questions at this point?
Do I have any questions? No.
No, does the group. If you check the chat box, see if there's any questions.
No, there's nothing in the chat box right now.
I can't use the chat box. I'm on a phone. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can.
Who's it?
What did you? I missed what you said about the beacon.
The beacon.
We left that out for a reason. The beacon is coming. Brian, you want to just share that with the group?
Yeah, the beacon is available. We don't have anybody using it right now, and we have a couple of little glitches with it with the new coding, but we'll have it available probably within the week. It's not it's an option as well for the advertiser, and I don't know if you know how the beacons work, but they're a near-field communication, kind of like, well, Bluetooth.
Yes. Right.
And so they work in a very close quarter. Now you can adjust that close quarter from anywhere from 50 feet to 3 city blocks essentially, and it all depends on the battery life of the beacon. The ones we use are provided by a company called Estimote, and they are both iOS and Android compatible.
So we have to provide that. We have to provide that hardware to the restaurant or business.
Yeah. We actually set it up. We get the beacons in, set them up for them, and provide them to the client.
Okay. And you say that's going to be running in a week.
We should be able to have that going here pretty quick. Yes, it's just it's an add-on to the new React code that we've coded in.
So if I'm driving past Isabella's, I'm going to get some sort of notice that says, "Hey, come to Isabella's for this."
If you're close enough to if you're within their near field communication capability, and you have the app running in the background, it would pop up. Yes.
Oh, okay. So the app needs to be running in order to receive those beacon messages.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the way the beacons work. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. They're perfect for restaurants, especially if they have a bar or lounge to promote things that are going on the other side, karaoke or whatever, and retail, obviously, for instant deals and those kind of things.
Okay. Great.
Brian, real quick, Mark Palmer has a question.
Huh?
With the beacons, is that something that we provide to the business for free? Is there a cost in addition to them paying for the advertising?
There is an actual cost, and we haven't actually set that cost because nobody's really come to us on it, but we're guessing about $20 per beacon per month. That's to get it set up, and they would have it at that point, and they can control it themselves after that fact. They have the ability to connect to it through their cell phone or through their Wi-Fi, internal Wi-Fi, and control it. If you have marginal cell service inside of a facility, beacons are wonderful because they eliminate that issue. They put out their own signal. You can have them where you have no cell signal at all, and if your Wi-Fi is turned on your phone or your Bluetooth's turned on your phone, it'll connect that way.
All right.
So there are some kind of tricks.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, I'm just saying there are some trick benefits to beacons out there that overcome some cellular issues.
Okay. I was going to say, guys, it's a great product to have, but what I would suggest you do is before you say a word about it, reach out to Brian to make sure that, one, we've gotten the pricing down for the beacons and we have the products available. Don't go off and mention this yet. That's why I say in the document here, once available. Still some things we need to tweak before we get fully invested with that. So keep that in mind. All right.
We have them in use in instances, and they work really well. I mean, they're very reliable, and I think the batteries in them typically work for 5 years. Now, depending on the distance that you create with it, let's say if you go for 3 city blocks, it would probably reduce that battery life down to about 2.5 years. But if you're using it in most retail environments, you'd easily get your 5 years out of it.
Right.
They're about
I think, guys. What's that?
They're about the size of a silver dollar.
Okay.